TK. Good. Oh, look at that. Were you flexing? Was that a flex?
No, that was like a pointing at. That's who you're talking about.
Flexing,
I don't
TK.
know much
You
to
got
flex.
these gigantic arms.
I'm really
like,
not.
You
I'm a
can't
small
even
guy.
help it. You're just
I'm a
pointing
small
at
guy.
your head.
You know what? You know who I met the other day or yesterday was Greg Ewins.
Like in person?
Yeah.
He's huge,
He's
right?
tall.
He's huge.
I'm looking up at him going like, asking him questions and stuff. I said, Greg, I'd like to talk to you on Zoom, the better for my neck.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, if anybody's wondering, I guess everyone's wondering how tall Darryl and TK are. I'm 5'8" and 3/4, but I lie and say I'm 5'9". Yeah.
Are we
round up.
Are we rounding here?
I round up. Yeah.
I think I used to be 5'11", but I'm definitely not anymore.
You're like a little bit taller than me. So maybe you're 5'10".
Now I'm like 5'4".
You're 5'9" and 3/4. Don't lie.
No. I'm like just shy of 5'11".
Okay. You're taller than me. So
I'm taller
anyways,
than you.
that's the whole story.
When I met Jordan Skrinko in person, he was way taller than I imagined. When I met Steve Soretsky and Daniel Foch in person, they were shorter than I imagined them.
Perfect.
Isn't that weird?
I think that's just how things go, So
what's it based on?
To the head size,
like
I don't know.
I guess the same thing as real estate prices right now.
Basically, yeah.
But
if you're listening to this show and you're just starting, then give us a subscribe, drop us a like, drop us a comment. If you're not interested in the long banter that we're about to take part in, Darryl and I, then you can decide to go to the Real Estate Clips show, Canadian Real Estate Show Clips, where we are going to summarize the heck out of this episode over there in so many different videos. You'll be getting those video notifications left, right, and center all week with a bunch of great tidbits. So sign up. Let's go.
Let's go, TK.
Let's go. So the market's crazy. I think this was my record number of listings putting up this week.
Right. Record number of listings. Yeah. So this is like the new word.
Listings
on the
are now just going,
bananas.
Hey, let's get our house on the market. Let's put up the unit. But things
shift.
are moving though. I'm still seeing that things are moving, but I would say price growth has not been there as it was in April. That's what I'll tell you for sure, is that we saw a huge price growth in April just because we were coming out of that market from before where everyone was like, oh, the market's down, and like agents, they would talk, they say, interest rates, the interest rates have gone up, my client can't afford to pay you the price that your client wants. And it was like, oh, okay, well, what can you do? Is there any offer that you'd be willing to send us? And then, we would negotiate back and forth, and the seller would feel like they were losing. And then all of a sudden, those agents still talked, but then there was one guy who was just like, we got to have it. And they were paying big bucks for it, and that put pressure on prices. And eventually those guys stopped saying those things. Those agents aren't calling me anymore saying, interest rates are high. And they're just saying like, maybe they're saying, well, the last comp on the street was, and I'm like, comps, who needs them? Okay. How much, how many offers are you competing against? That's the question.
How many real offers are you competing against?
Real
question.
If it was in Quebec, it'd be probably
only
none.
Only in Quebec. That's right. It only happens in Quebec and only in small towns, right? Not in the metros. So, but hold on a sec. 2 weeks ago, you say April, but I mean, I think even the first couple of weeks of May, there was definitely prices going up, and everybody was talking bidding wars, and everybody was talking multiple offers. And now, like literally, I think if we go back to last week's show, we were still saying it was pretty good, right? Or it was rip roaring still. And now,
I had a few good examples of rip roaring. Yeah.
But all week, everybody's been like, way more listings. Some guy put something on Twitter. Robert Marsiglio goes, the jump might not. Yeah, shout out to Robert, whoever you are. The jump might not be enough to get at the Frankfurt report excited, but take a look at active listings today compared to my Monday report. There's a giant jump in listings. 5.8% across the GTA. That's fairly significant, right?
Yeah.
And what he's showing in these charts, you'll have to go to Twitter.
Compared to what though? That's like 1 day, right? Or 1 week, or 20%? Probably weekly.
Active residential resale housing inventory across the GTA. I don't know. It's like over the quarters. Quarterly. Yeah, no, it's a huge jump here. Huge.
Yeah, not over a quarter.
Well, whatever the fuck.
Seasonal.
A month over, seasonal.
Seasonal.
Anyways.
Anyways, I gotta stop pumping.
Either way, I think it's probably month over month, actually.
Okay.
Wouldn't that make sense?
That would be a lot.
But wouldn't that make sense? Like everybody.
But sales have also gone up too. I shout out to Tom's story. He had a little Instagram reel where he was showing, because there was a blog TO article. Are we doing that article today?
I don't know. We're not doing anything. We're just
so blog TO put out an article that basically said nobody wants to buy condos anymore, and the market's crashing, and doomsday. And obviously it's totally wrong in every single way, because Tom then put up a great little note that he showed where people were where he was looking at how many sales there have been, and sales have been continuously increasing and prices have been continuously increasing in the downtown condo market, so therefore debunking the blog TO article.
Reconstruction, it was talking about.
Sure, but they're also grouping in resale at the same time, trying to make it sound like it's all condos. So and really we had Skrinko on 2 weeks ago who was telling us that it was in the 905 that people were lining up and not the downtown core. So that makes sense. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear that things are going so well on most launches at the moment. And a lot of them just came out. So there's a lot of choices. I guess if you're an investor, if you want to live somewhere, they're like scattered all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like the sentiment is saying right now that there is definitely more options out there, and you don't have to jump as fast, because it seems like there's a flood at the moment. But you're saying that sales are keeping up. This guy Robert's charts show that sales are increasing at a much slower pace than the listings are increasing. And
I agree that sales are taking out some of that 5%, but not all of it.
Right. So, okay. So we're not absorbing as fast, but we still have more than one.
We were in this crazy market though, with no inventory. So like there really only was one way to go up.
It was a month. It was
2 months. I know, a month and a half.
It was a month. Oh my God. I just recognized I'm wearing my Forrest Gump costume again. And I got the haircut again. Shit. This is the wrong combination.
I think you look great for us. Yeah.
Well, life is not a box of chocolates right now. That's what I can tell you. That's for damn sure. Not at all. Fucking Forrest Gump. Fuck. I look like what's his name?
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is a famous guy. You know what? If I looked like anybody famous, if I looked like anybody famous, man, I'd be
Tom Hanks.
One time at the airport.
Did this shtick
real
before.
estate.
God,
okay. So when we're going and
that's the TikTok viral one right there.
So when we're looking at all the different activity out there on our team and how many listings we have and all the different people, some listings are getting a lot of activity. Like it is really gung ho that buyers are coming in, like bully offers, like people want to buy properties and they're willing to pay whatever they can to get it. And then other areas it's just like, where's all the buyers? They're not here.
So what's the difference?
And it doesn't even mean that there's a bunch of competitive listings.
What's the pattern you're noticing?
It's just so temperamental. There's just so many different factors why a group of buyers will all start competing for one type of property. And there's so many different scenarios in the GTA, and there's so many different product types. One thing though we can say for sure is that condos are not right now, the most in demand product. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of, there's very few investors out there in the market as a whole. So you just have a lot less activity. But like last night, we sold a condo conditional downtown, and there was activity on it, right? So I mean, I'm not saying it's not out there.
What was the price in relation to peak there?
That's a good question. I don't know. This is such a unique unit that there really was no comps even during the peak. So bottom line is it sold conditional for a price that the market said it was worth today. I mean, it seems like a lower price than it seems like a lower price than what, maybe initial expectations.
I'm going to read into this a little bit. I'm going to do a little psychology here, because I'm pretty sure if it was like way over, you'd know it for sure.
Way over peak?
Like peak, yeah. You'd be like, oh my God, I sold this thing for so much over peak.
So
and it was like
do I think
unreal.
Do I think it's under peak?
TK special. Under
It's under
peak.
peak.
Okay,
Yeah,
here we
it's
go.
under peak. Yeah, it's under peak.
Yeah, for sure, right?
But just a unique unit. I mean, it's a big unit and it's got a big maintenance fee and it's
Big
got
maintenance fees.
yeah, and it's got
So
needs
dumb.
renovations and all that kind of stuff too, right? So
This model is just like,
so
doesn't make sense.
what's interesting though about the maintenance fee, because I was speaking to the owner who was on the condo board, and
Interesting about a
apparently,
maintenance fee?
yeah, well, how do the maintenance fees work? How are maintenance fees broken down,
Depends on the building.
right? So that's a great answer, Daryl. But you'd always think that they'd be based off of square footage, and it would be like, a price per square foot. So you'd
Oh,
say, well,
isn't
everybody's
it?
going to be at 65 cents. Not in this building. So however they decided when the time came,
Not
there's a
in this
big
building.
fluctuation in um in maintenance price per square foot. Maintenance fees price per square foot.
Fine.
So, well, I don't know. I guess just when the condominiums started, they're looking at everybody's unit and they're able to say, well, maybe this unit should be more than the other ones because of these factors. I don't know.
Nobody lives in
That
this
doesn't seem
one,
fair,
so we're going to transfer ours over
right?
to this
So,
one.
I mean, what it should be a ratio of like, okay, how much
I thought it
floor plate do
was.
you cover?
Yeah.
In new buildings, it is. But again, this is a building that's not. It's a 30-year-old building. But imagine being the guy right now where you're way under everybody else. And all of a sudden they're like, listen, Jim on the third floor, he's been paying way too much now for 30 years. So we're going to decrease his a little bit and increase yours. Do you want to vote for this?
Yeah.
No. You kidding me? Not a chance.
Not
Keep
a
mine exactly
chance.
where it is now that I know that it's the lowest.
Sure.
Suckers.
I've been paying the least amount for these hallway carpets for the last 30 years. I'm very happy with my position here.
Old condos are just tough. I mean, in BC, they have a lot of issues because the Condominium Act over there doesn't have that same protection for reserve funds. And so they have to get, we should have someone on who knows more about this than I do, but they have to get insurance and they have to get loans all the time in order to be able to fix those old condos because they don't have the money to do it. And all the owners are on the hook. Like
God,
it's a real show
what
over
a
there.
shit show. Yeah, it's a real show.
And so here in Canada, like we actually have the Condominium Act, which protects in Canada. In Ontario, we have the Condominium Act that protects the homeowners because there's certain rules that have to be followed in order to be able to make sure that the reserve fund is adequate right from the get-go when the condominium corporation is registered, right? And there's going to be certain things that need to be done in order to be able to, maintain that. And as far as I know, special assessments are pretty rare, but for the most part, they're either from just like poor management, which, there could be all sorts of reasons, theft or just stupidity, or unexpected expenses, which is
fraud, a little bit of fraud,
a little bit of fraud.
My buddy does sprinklers, by the way. So we need, $500,000 sprinkler maintenance check.
Yeah.
Everybody approve? I'm the only one here. Approved.
Yeah.
Nobody even wants to go anymore because now you can be murdered. Remember, TK?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We covered it here. Like,
yeah, that guy. I wonder what we should follow his case.
I wonder what's
should
going
go to the
on.
courtroom and just check out, like, what's going on with his case. Find out.
You think there's still a case? You think he's alive?
Maybe
they Epsteined him.
The condo people Epsteined him.
They had him Epstein.
Yeah,
maybe.
Anyways, Daryl, let's get back on track here.
Hell
okay?
is going
So the condo market again is still a reasonable market to be in. There's still sales.
The only
there's still
affordable place to be. Yeah.
But if you have to go and go on the market right now in the condo market, you need to look at like how many units are you competing against? Because the reality is this: if you're an older unit and we have all these units that are going to be constantly closed for the next umpteen years, right? From all this new construction that we've got, you're always going to be in competition with newer units that are going to show well, that are going to have nice layouts and all that kind of stuff. So if you're an older unit, I think you really have to be concerned unless you're like a really large unit or something like that with a reasonable maintenance fee.
What has higher maintenance fees, older or newer buildings? Older does?
Yeah.
Like I get that they would need to spend more, but doesn't the contingency
maintenance fees go up like taxes? They just keep on raising them. They say, let's, 2%, 4%. 6%. Each year they raise them. So by the time you get to, 30 years later.
Right. Don't they cover more now like than they used to? Like weren't maintenance fees almost nothing before? And then they realized, oh shit, like these things are falling apart.
The cost of maintenance has gone up.
Everything's gone
So
up.
I had a
But
building on Eglinton where in the East End where the maintenance or the special assessment was almost $40,000 on this one unit because the windows, when they priced the windows back in 1989, they were like, yeah, this is a $2 million job, you know, like we better put aside money. So in 30, 40 years, we're going to have that $2 million.
yeah, and now
And it
2
ended up
million with
being like
inflation
$30
is like
million
a
when,
billion dollars.
yeah, it was like 30 million by the time they like actually needed the windows. And they were like, oh,
Uh-oh.
how do we pay for this?
What do
Maybe
we
it's
do
20 million.
now?
I
Let's have a
exaggerate a lot.
bake sale.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah,
they're
condos are probably not the best avenue if you can avoid them, I
well,
think.
what do you do when you've got $50,000 saved? What do you buy, Daryl? Where do you live? Where do you live? You're
You
gonna rent?
rent. You're going to rent.
Okay, so you're gonna pay someone else's mortgage. Why not pay your own?
Because right now it's cheaper to rent and safer to rent.
Why is that? Because you know where
Because
the
the
market's going?
market's like crazy.
Is it crazy? Is it going somewhere?
I don't fucking know
Who
anymore.
knows?
I
But the
don't know.
bottom line is, right? People want to buy. Canadians like home ownership. Condos give them an option to be able to do that. What about
Yeah.
all the people who are from countries who don't have a lot of detached housing and that they're used to living in condos? And for them, having to take care of grass and eaves troughs and all that kind of stuff is daunting, and they've got no interest to do it. They shouldn't live in condos,
Everybody should live in
right?
condos if they want to.
Condos are a great
But the whole
option.
system's fucked. Like they're too expensive. Then your maintenance fees are crazy
Mhm.
and they don't get maintained properly. Like that's the reality is it's always reactionary because nobody wants to fix their roof ahead of time, right? They want to keep the money or there's never enough money. Like rarely is there, you know,
There
three,
are
400,000. I
no,
know there's some that are
there's some really
managed
well
fine.
managed buildings where
Yeah,
the
there's
guys
some.
who are on the board are like, you know, corporate guys who have a lot of experience.
Right. And this is
You're
why they should,
lucky.
but they should just all be purpose-built rental buildings. Like enough with this condo idea. It's so stupid. Like just
Why?
because they're really like for 50% of them are rentals
No, that's
anyways.
not true. In some
It's
buildings you have
not
high
true.
rates, but there's a ton of them that are in the teens and, you know, 20%. Like there's a lot of buildings out there, some of them even lower.
In the teens, what?
Percentage of units leased.
Teens, that's still pretty high for a building.
No, high is like 35%.
35 is high.
Yeah, yeah. There's way higher
Where do you get that stat from?
in
Like
the status certificate.
the
Tells you.
status certificate?
Yeah.
So you've seen all of them.
No, I'm just saying all the ones that I've seen over the years, you know, like these are the
Right.
numbers that
Right.
sort of stay in your head, right?
Like with all the owners you work with. I
Anybody,
think your pool,
buyers or sellers. Any condo building, you're going to see the status at one point.
right. But
Condo
you're
deal.
dealing with like owners, not, oh, no. But how many times are you selling a condo that has a tenant in it? Or like you have to get rid of a tenant. You've
Either
been
way, you need a
talking to them
status
for 6
certificate.
months.
Condos for me, because my business is not as primarily condos.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
as
true.
often.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
were we even talking about condos? How did
I
we
don't
get
know.
onto
Look at all the
condos?
condos in the background. Look at these condos.
Well, this is the place for condos. There's no doubt.
I'm not gonna
But
lie.
like I just don't understand how somebody has comfort in buying one so far out now, especially downtown. Although I
Pre-con.
guess the prices seem to be coming down in some places downtown, which is kind of crazy.
Pre-con?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when I talk to
Well,
people
if you've
about
got a
like
site plan approved project, like what do you do?
I don't know right now. Like there's a
Either you
lot that are for
sell or
sale.
you
There's a lot for sale,
sell.
but I don't think they're selling because I don't know if people are very interested in buying something that they have to launch right now that
Mhm.
somebody already squeezed all the juice out of,
Mhm.
right? And now like you'd have to just go now.
Yeah.
And things are not selling the way that they used to. Like that's for sure. In pre-con, I guess Jordan says they're ripping in the 905, but like there's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm not hearing that it's ripping anywhere. Maybe a couple of buildings ripped in the
Mhm.
905. I know a couple ripped in the 416, but a lot
Yeah.
came out right now, and I just keep seeing more emails, which means I think they're looking for more buyers.
They're definitely looking for more buyers. So you've
Yeah.
heard it here on the Canadian Real Estate Show. Go to precondo.ca or com. Go to precondo and check out
Whatever he's
what
saying.
advice Jordan gives you. Otherwise, you'll
Whatever
be
that
hearing it
guy's
from
saying.
someone else just ignore it because it's probably not going to help you.
Well, I have to ask people what prices are at, right? When I'm trying to figure out if a project's worth purchasing. And so I noticed that lately they're far more conservative with that number, and it seems to have shrunk in their forecasts. And they're not really so sure. Whereas before it was like, these guys could peg a number,
8% a
whether
year.
it was right or wrong. Like they had a good feeling. Like they were like, boom, this is the number. And now it's like, I don't fucking know, but like, I don't think it's what you think it is for sure. Everybody's sure it's not what I think it is.
I had a meeting with
always wrong.
I'm only wrong half the time.
I'm always wrong.
You're
it's
wrong
so
more
crazy.
than me. I had a meeting with Greg.
Right.
I had a meeting with Greg this week. So, you know, he gave a lot of cool info about the just like the overall sort of landscape on what people are applying for and stuff like that, you know, with the higher density on major streets and neighborhoods. So the expanding housing options is just like fourplexes, which your idea, by the way, about the building construction fourplex with the backyard garden suite, I'm more like, you know, I'm agreeing with you a little bit more today than I was when you first brought it up.
But
because it doesn't make sense to do it on the resale side. I don't think it's just like there's so many modifications that need to be done. Right.
Yeah. When you're buying something and then you're going to flip or change it into a fourplex, it's like the numbers can't make sense. But when you're building a whole
floor,
if I bought
3 bedrooms on each floor multiplex, that's with a garden suite or laneway suite in the back.
Well, but like take Bayview and Major Mac now. You've got 2 corners, power of sale. Like what a great place to put. It doesn't have to be the whole subdivision, but like you could put a chunk of, I don't know, 60 fourplexes with laneway suites there, right? For people that are into that. I mean, it's gotta be 60 people that are interested in that idea. And that 60 turns into 240 units, right? That's pretty kick-ass. No, it's more because you get a laneway suite. When I say 60 times 5, it's 300.
Yeah.
300 units. Boom. But so
a lot of rentals in one spot, though. That's the other thing, too, is the rental market.
What the fuck? It's a building. It's like a building. But now you have backyards that people want. And it's like somewhat affordable.
Yeah. True. I agree.
Listen, you can have people with backyards, people with rooftop decks in this
living in Richmond Hill,
right? Living in Richmond Hill affordably.
Yeah.
In something new,
but are they really going to be affordable? Like, are they going to be like
comparatively affordable?
We just built this brand new place and it looks amazing, and we're going to give it to you at a discount.
Not a discount. Listen, affordability is not like cheaper than it should be. It's cheaper than other alternatives. Okay, so like, sorry,
if you lived
bro,
in Dubai on a penthouse,
that's a different story too.
Then this is cheaper than that. Well, think about it. How much is rent really going to be at one of those 3-bedroom modern fourplex units? Like, what are they going to charge? They're going to charge like $4,000 a month. I might as well be living downtown. You know, get my kids bunk beds.
Maybe.
It's in Richmond Hill. So I'm just saying. Anyways, back to what my point was. So that he was talking a lot about
what'd you do? You like set me up to like smack me in the face there with it, right? You're like, I liked your idea, but it sucks completely.
No, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Like I said, I'm leaning towards it more now.
Horrible idea that was.
I think it's the only way that it can be done. I just don't think a subdivision of them is going to be, you know, the best use. But if you get one lot that you can divide into 2 lots, like when you sever a lot now, like those 50 footers that go down to 25 footers.
You can build one on one of them.
You build one on each one. Right? Now you got 2 fourplexes next door to each other with 2 garden suites in the back.
Yeah.
On a 50 by 150. Like,
I don't think that
sexy.
I think you need some economies of scale there.
Maybe.
But I don't know. We'll have to do an analysis. I mean, I was supposed to go talk to Ben, but Ben rented it. Okay, so Ben built a garden suite in his backyard or in his laneway, right?
Yeah.
He moved his office into there.
Yeah.
And he like rents it out as an Airbnb. He can like transform it into like a suite, right? From an office.
Yeah.
So I was like, when am I coming to check out the laneway and talk about laneway suites? And he's like, I rented it out for the week. We got to do it next week. But like the amount, $300 a night
Really? But that
on
plus fees?
Airbnb.
What I want to talk about
What the
is
hell were we talking
I
about?
want to talk about the fact that there's going to be more applications now for 6-story buildings
Is this
in
what you got out of
neighborhoods
the meeting with Greg?
on busy streets.
6 stories on,
6-story buildings on busy streets.
obviously. I mean, you could do that before.
Really?
Yeah. 6-story
Not
wood
according to
on a,
people. Not according to people who are in neighborhoods.
oh, in a neighborhood?
Yes,
Hmm.
exactly.
What do you mean? Like on a fucking street right beside my house here?
If it's a busy street,
Not in my backyard. It's not happening.
well, too
What?
bad. If
Hey,
it's a busy street, right?
no,
It's a
it's not a
main.
busy street. What? So what's a main street? An avenue? Like
I
there's
don't
got
know
to
if
be a
it's if it's
definition here.
limited to avenues or not, but regardless, you're talking about a main road, and you're talking about a 6-story building. So yeah, you could be living in a neighborhood where your neighbor was this big corner lot that you thought, man, he's got a pretty big lot. What's going on over there? And next thing you know, you're gonna have a 6-story building next door to you.
Yeah, I don't think it's like quite the streets you're talking about. It's probably streets like Marley and like avenues. It's not going to be just normal neighborhood street. Oh, you're saying in the neighborhoods.
In the neighborhoods.
In the neighborhoods.
Because you got to remember,
neighborhoods.
there
What's
are
a
places
main
that
street?
are designated as neighborhoods. Danforth Road is the one that we were going over with him.
Oh, I see. So neighborhood designations that shouldn't be neighborhood designations because they're on a
Potentially,
main
there's all
street?
mixed use along Danforth Road, but then there'll be one lot that's neighborhoods because it was whatever, as part of that little street, that little subdivision. So
Yeah, you're
because
going to
it's
get
fronting
more than
on,
6 on that puppy.
well, anyways, it's going to be a minimum of 6 based on what the city's talking about.
That's just so dumb. Think about that. It's because it's a house and it's on a main street. Across the street is a building. So it's like mixed use. So you can go up 30 stories there because it's on Danforth. But on the other side of the street, it's a house that's marked neighborhood, 6 stories. What do you mean? What do you mean 6 stories? No, 6 stories.
Well, then
it used to be
amend
4.
the official plan and official plan and try to make that work.
That's right.
The other thing we were talking about was the so no development charges on those multiplexes in Toronto. Okay, so that's pretty huge. But also that all the municipalities in Ontario are now building their own framework for the same policy.
Yeah.
So expect that, this is not just going to be in Toronto, that you're going to see this in all the other areas.
You're seeing
both
it Pickering,
Garden Suites and Pickering's one for sure. Garden
Pickering,
Suites and
Brampton.
multiplexes. Right. So this will be something that, once Toronto's adopted and they've kind of figured out all the kinks, then other municipalities will be saying the same thing. That's what they're going to want to see, which is exciting. For what? I don't know. Somebody's going to
don't see it.
There's going to be some cool designs, and there'll be companies who make a business out of it. Right now, those Garden Suite Laneway companies, they're calling me right now, trying to get me to do free reports with them. So obviously they need the business, but.
Well, there's guys that are offering like, pay me $99 and I'll come out and tell you what you can do. And I'll give you free plans because you can do the same thing on every property. Like I think people are getting scammed out of $100.
Getting scammed out of $100.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, but there's also, rumblings of people being taken advantage of by certain laneway building companies. I think
so.
Most experienced
the price per square foot,
but most experienced builders are not going like, ooh, what an opportunity. Let's like transition into laneway suites and, deal with people that are broke that need to spend way more than they're planning on every single project. Yeah. They don't want that. No, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. So who's doing laneway suites? New guys.
Yeah.
New guys.
Looking for a specialty, a niche.
Don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And they're selling like it's not easy.
Yeah.
This is not an easy feat.
I think that there's a lot of prefab stuff that you could get that maybe wasn't designed initially for a garden suite, but like the office pods and stuff like that. And there's some great prices on those.
There's some cool stuff.
Right?
There's some really cool stuff.
You can find things that you can order that you can assemble here and that you can be spending like way less price per square foot than any of these companies are talking about. There's build a pad and you get all the services in yourself. You got to contract that out.
There's a module in the States at Home Depot that's like it's literally like a framed wood little house, and you just put it together. I don't even They didn't show how you put it together, but it's like,
If
it's
it's
like
at Home Depot, you know,
it's modular. Like
if
it's walls, or if
you can do
it
it,
was like a big
they can
shed
help.
with stairs, but
Yeah.
fully framed. And like, you still got to bring all of your stuff to it, right? Unless you
Yeah.
want to have a bucket to, you know, put your stuff in when you're finished with it. But you still
Yeah.
really should be
You bring your
bringing
services in.
drains and yeah.
Yeah. You bring your services in, make sure everything's done properly. So the other thing that Greg was talking about was the difference between the application time. So what's going to happen now is the City of Toronto is going to get an application for a project. So it's for, I guess, a zoning bylaw amendment, something like that. So somebody can turn their, up zone a property into a 10-story, 20-story building or whatever it is. What would happen before is it would sit there for years while the city thinks, maybe here, maybe try this, submit, just send us what you think you should build there and we'll let you know if it's okay. Now, if you get to the application stage, your fee after 2 or 3 months will be reduced by a certain percentage, after 6 months by a huge percentage, and after like 9 months, if they haven't given you your zoning, you get all of your fee back and you basically get to do the application stage for free.
I think it's even less time than that.
So there you go. So that's it. What do you think about that? Is that not something that's going to create urgency at the planning departments?
So
Or they're like, we're not accepting applications anymore.
no, the rule is that they have to make a decision within a
Okay.
certain amount of time. So a decision could be no, right?
Yeah.
Or a decision could be not what you wanted, but yes, this is what we'll let you do. And here it is. And so I've heard from some that, you can put in whatever the fuck you want. We're going to approve you for this. Fight us, right? Like, but this will keep the fees alive, right? Because now they've made a decision in the allotted time and it just goes through the process now. So if you don't like our decision, challenge it and we'll just keep going along on our merry way. Because the municipalities can't give up those fees. I think
they can't lose those fees.
And I'm pretty sure it's 90 days. I don't think it's 6 months. Like, I think it's really quickly that, like, you got to make a decision or your fees are starting to disappear.
Yeah.
So that's what I heard. But
okay.
I mean, I've been hearing stuff for a long time from a lot of people and nothing's happened. So who knows what's going to happen? But I keep saying, I'm seeing applications that never in a million years would have gone in last year. Like, there's no way in places, in designations, like there's just no way. And now, like, the ones that would have been like 15, 18 stories would have been really pushing it. Like, now those are 35 stories, right? And now I'm seeing like stuff in neighborhoods that are really close to transit on main streets. Now, fuck 6. These guys are going for 35. Okay. 35. And guys
that transit.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Well, but I mean, no, but you can have something designated neighborhood near transit that, according to the official plan and the bylaws and everything, you should be building 6 stories like you just said.
I agree. But if you're not near a major transit station, then you will be probably limited in how much density they're going to give you. And so again, getting a 6-story building on a lot that was just a really nice corner lot in some Scarborough neighborhood,
but like the main street,
Lawrence,
like going down Scarborough Golf Club Road, you're gonna
Scarborough Golf Club in Lawrence,
maybe
a smaller street, maybe Lawrence and one of the side streets. Then all of a sudden, right at the corner, there's a property where there's 2 houses next door to each other. No one really cares about them. There's not a big deal. They're neighborhoods. They're not mixed use. They're just part of the area. One happens to be on Scarborough or Lawrence. One happens to be on a smaller side street. Well, now you buy them, you assemble them, you pay them really well. Now you got for $2.5 million, half an acre lot that you can do a 6-story building on.
Right.
That's a good idea, isn't it?
Maybe. I mean,
yeah, because we used to always do townhouses for those assemblies. That was it. You were like, well, let's try to do some townhouses. Let's try to make sure we have a corner. We need to be able to have traffic studies and all that. But now if you're looking at a 6-story building, that makes it a much better site.
So what changes the different? Okay, so either you're allowed 4 units plus one or a 6-story building? What changes it to be able to have a 6-story building?
I have no idea. This is what Greg told me.
Maybe you misunderstood something.
No, this is part of the expanding housing options in neighborhoods.
Mhm.
Is that it's 4 stories, but that people are going to be pushing it to 6 with the justification based on what the city's ideas on how to create more housing, because the city just recently committed to having over those 10 years 285,000 units.
Okay.
And that
I see what's happening here. So
okay, tell me.
You were having somewhat of a theoretical conversation here based on maybe scenarios.
Maybe scenarios.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is good. This is breaking news here. This is what TK thinks might have been said about what Greg Ewans might think is happening.
I know what he said,
soon.
but he's talking about it.
No, it's a strategy.
In the
like
theory,
it's like 100%. It's doable. Like it's definitely a doable thing based on what he sees. I can see that for sure. Now, hold on a sec. Okay, so we buy my neighbor for X, we buy that neighbor for Y, and I can put up a 6-story building here? No fucking way. No, this is not a main street. Okay, but like right around the corner, there's a street that it has fairly high traffic, actually has apartment buildings on most of it, and houses. Now that would be primo we're talking now, right?
Absolutely. Listen, Lawrence is actually a great example.
Let's do some
Lawrence
math
Avenue
here.
East, there is a ton of properties that have 200-foot deep lots, 50-foot frontages. It's all neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So each one of them, you're looking at like two of them together is half an acre. Right.
I'm gonna do some math here.
How good of a building could you do on a 100 by 200 foot lot corner?
100 by 200?
Yeah.
Oh, I did shorter because I figured you could get like 250 by 120s pretty easily, 150s even.
Whatever. There's
it makes a big difference.
Those are there too. Well, I'm just
6 stories. 6 stories.
6 stories.
What about the basement?
Do like a walk-up basement, so you're half.
Can you rent the basement too?
Yeah.
Can it be like
grade walk-up?
6 plus 1?
Are
you making this up? Are you making this up?
No. It'll be
6 total. 5 plus 1. Okay, so we got 6 stories. So we got that much square footage. Okay,
and
so
parking also is a big difference. They've changed a lot of the parking bylaws now too. So you can get some of these properties that are going to be near transit with no parking.
Nah, it's okay. It's whatever. Maybe it's okay.
You sound excited.
It really, I mean,
can just tell
it
you
really
depends
right
now. You're like, I'm going to start looking for these deals. Why is TK giving away all these good secrets?
Well, I mean, I've known about this for a while. I mean, I swear to God, I did think that in my head here. But since we're going with it, and since people come here for truth in doses somewhere along the way,
this is it. Yeah.
Okay. So it depends where you do that, but there is probably some pockets where that makes a lot of sense, actually. Right. But it depends on what you buy the couple of houses.
6 stories aren't guaranteed. So good luck if you end up having those houses. You might just have some great places to put some fourplexes up because the 6 stories is not guaranteed. I agree 100%.
So, but if you're doing that, then I mean, you figure it out with 4 plus a basement. Really, it's probably 5 or 6.
Yeah. Or you go fourplexes, because if I buy 250s, right? And they're only, let's say that I buy 250s and they're 200 feet deep. Okay. Then what I would do is I would apply to make it 3 33-foot lots or 2 30s and a 40. Right. The corner will be a 40. And then put 3 multiplexes up with garden suites in the back.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. 5 units per lot. I can go and get.
We should call that guy.
Financing.
We should call that guy that charges $99 and get him on the show and see what he must know the answer.
I'm going to Google him as soon as we're done.
I think.
Let's see what he's going to say at my house.
Yeah, it's like the laneway doctor guy or something like that. He's on Twitter.
Just come by and check out my property.
But he charges $99 or something and $149.
I pay $99 just to talk to people all the time.
Would you pay $99 to talk to me? All the time?
I do pay $99.
You feel like you're paying for this?
No.
Does it cost you money?
I've paid in the past.
You've paid in the past to talk to me?
Yeah. I take you out for lunch.
You should have. Yeah, you should have, for sure.
I was paying because I wanted to hang around with you.
Well, you should want to. I mean,
I
this
do.
is some
You want to
good
go for lunch
stuff right
next
here.
week?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime.
Good.
Absolutely,
Hey.
TK. Let's plan that off here though. What else do I got? You sent me something about property taxes and affordability being issues in this mayoral candidacy run or whatever the hell you
Yeah,
want to
well,
call
who the
this
heck is going to run on the campaign
election.
saying that we're going to raise
Yeah.
property taxes?
But someone did.
I know, but
What
it's
the
not a good
fuck?
idea.
Everybody
Do that
was.
stuff after. Don't you know how the politics game works?
No, but they're gonna build affordable housing, TK. Like, come on.
Those people aren't
They're
voting.
gonna solve the housing crisis. These
They're not
people,
voting. The
they're
people who
gonna
are
get rid
voting are
of
all the
bike
ones in houses who
lanes.
want prices to go up even higher.
Bike lanes are a
And
fucking issue, man. Bike lanes are like bigger than like NIMBYism now.
Yeah.
What do they call those people? You see, there's like videos of people smashing people's cars and yelling at people for standing in bike lanes.
They're nimbles. They're nimbles, not in my bike lane.
Bicycles,
Not
nimbles.
in my bike lane.
Bike lane? Did you do that? Well done, TK.
Yeah.
But seriously, this is like one of the top points: taxation, bike lanes, and affordability. And I don't think. Well, we're going to end up with more bike lanes. That's for damn sure. It's kind of nice when you go on King Street now. Oh, bless you. It's nice going on King Street when there's like no cars now, or just illegal cars everywhere. No, you don't like that?
I think Danforth is the worst.
Danforth is the worst.
Yeah, they've made these huge bike
Queen
lanes
Street's the worst.
on an already busy road.
Yeah.
And now the parking becomes an issue.
Are you voting though over bike lanes? Like, is this going to sway who you would vote for mayor?
No.
What would
No,
sway
housing is the
you,
biggest
TK?
issue.
No,
Housing.
but seriously, you don't give a fuck. You're not voting for somebody based on their housing position. Come on. Because you need housing? No, you're housed. You're like one of us.
But I want to have a person who's going to be pro development. I do want housing prices to be more affordable. I do not want this city to become a city where it's so expensive that no one can afford and everyone just like ruins their life because they need to take out these big mortgages and have all this craziness. Like
it's there.
I was watching a real estate podcast that just had like a clip on Instagram. It wasn't as good as our podcast, Darryl.
Obviously.
But they had a clip on Instagram. So I was listening to it. And they were talking about how Toronto is for like the rich. Like it's like unless your parents are helping you or like you have like a really great job, how do you ever buy? And I don't think that's a place that I would like to live in. I'd like to live in a place where like everybody has an opportunity to buy and move into the areas that they want to move.
So you're moving?
Maybe you don't.
Are you moving? You want to live there? Where are you moving to? Because it ain't here.
Maybe you don't get as big of a house or something like that. But everyone should be able to afford, a small little bungalow somewhere. Scarborough.
Yeah. Everybody should be handed the keys to their Lambo when they're 16, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
This is a dream, TK. This is not reality. And guess what? Yeah. Guess what? Anybody that's voted in isn't fixing that problem ever. Because
a condo, then something like just
but build still enough, math doesn't
build enough properties. So I think immigration is going to continue to spill into the city. I think that more and more people are always going to want to live in Toronto. Look at how boring it is to live in every other part of, to me, Canada, but I guess Vancouver could be cool and some people like Montreal. But really every other place is not exciting. Darryl, come on.
I haven't been to any of them because I've made a rule.
You don't leave Thornhill.
No, I leave Thornhill. I don't even live in Thornhill. But I will not go on vacation in Canada. Like I'll take a little weekend getaway up north or something, but I'm not flying somewhere in Canada. Okay. If I'm getting on a plane, if I'm going through that, I almost did that. Whistler. Remember, I canceled it because the person we were supposed to go with went fucking bananas and tried to steal money from me. But that's for another show.
Every once in a while, someone goes crazy in my life too. It's okay.
My God, that was funny. But anyways, thank God, because really, I mean, it was during the pandemic. So, I mean, flying all of a sudden was a possibility for me, which it wasn't for a couple of years. So I considered it because I couldn't go anywhere else. But if I have actual freedom of choice of where I go on my vacation, it's nowhere. I don't care how beautiful the east of Canada is out in the Maritimes. I don't care how beautiful the mountains are in Canada out west there in Vancouver. I don't care how beautiful the prairies are and how cool Calgary might be. I don't give a shit. I want palm trees and sand and sun and people saying, Mr. Frankfurt, can I get you another? That's all I want to hear all day. TK.
Senor
Doesn't happen
Frankfurt,
here. Dos, por favor.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I don't disagree. I understand. But the main thing is this, and
Who
what
the
the point
hell
of that
comes here?
that
Anyway.
point of that comment was that I don't see I don't see a time where the demand for Toronto housing is ever going to decrease.
No.
No.
So what happens with pricing?
So, well, pricing will be based on supply.
2030, we will catch
able
up.
to create a huge amount of supply through everybody now, going broke and they can't afford their houses, like everyone in the comments will say, or if they say that, they build too many houses and that we get all this construction done somehow, the robots come and save us. And next thing you know, in a few years, we have too many properties for everybody to live in. Therefore, the demand will still be there, but the prices will be pressured down because of the supply. But if we don't do anything about the supply, it will continue to have pressure on it for long periods of time, and we'll still face these same issues. And we're going to talk about these things ad nauseum over and over again every week on this show, and people are going to be sick of it, and they're not going to want to watch anymore, Darryl. So I want to vote for somebody for the mayor who is going to continue to bring us more interesting topics to talk about on this show so that people keep listening.
Are you suggesting I run for mayor?
I've
Was that what you were getting at there?
I've already nominated.
Am I on the ballot?
Yeah.
Next time, TK. Next time. We need a few more viewers.
A couple of people that I invited some mayoral candidates.
How do we say it? I keep saying
mayoral candidates, and none of them got back to me.
Obviously,
and none of them. I told them how great our show was, but none of them got back to me. Yeah. And you know what? When I saw the polls, the ones that I invited were all the lowest on the polls. Like these weren't the top guys.
Well, you figured those were the guys that might say yes.
No, I thought they were going to be in the running. I thought, yeah, I'm going to support you. But I think they didn't want to come on the show because they knew they just don't stand a chance.
Not a chance, TK.
They were like, oh, let's not go on that show.
I want to relate this to real estate. And I think I can with a question. But this is interesting news. And we're going to bring it into real estate because maybe this is what's going to change things. Maybe this is how we're going to catch up. Maybe this is how we're going to come up with all of the solutions. Or maybe this will just make some agents better than others or developers better than others. But this is going to be big, TK.
What is it?
Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, has received FDA approval to test on human beings, TK. Can you imagine a neural linked up realtor or developer? Can you imagine being able to scan everything that's possible and figure it all out like this? Look at a listing. I don't want that. I want that. I could do this with that. I could do this with that. I could do this with that. Like, imagine the crazy things you could do with everything if you were linked up with Neuralink. And you were like a computer cyborg now, realtor. You make content in your head, push it out to the internet just by thinking about it.
You would know every language.
Yeah. Anybody would call you and you'd just be like,
no problem, right?
Right? No, but think about the advantages, TK.
Yeah.
Right?
I am scared just thinking about it because of how much information is out there. But think about this right here, okay? This piece of equipment, right? This phone. When you used to walk around downtown
wondering things and not knowing,
all of a sudden
not having the answer.
All of a sudden you felt like your shoe was starting to wear out a little bit. It wasn't so comfortable, right? Did you ever before say, well, maybe right now is a good time to buy a new pair of shoes?
Let's check Amazon.
Right? You wouldn't, right? You'd say, you know what, these shoes seem to be wearing out. Maybe next time I go shopping, I'll think about it. But
maybe
instead,
you'll walk
now
by a store.
Just try to go with the example, okay?
Sorry.
Now you pull out your phone and you go, you know what? I need garbage bags at home. I forgot about garbage bags. I need new shoes. I need new batteries. I think my smoke detector is going to run out of batteries soon. I better buy those batteries in advance. You just pull out your phone and you order from Amazon.
Yeah.
Did you ever wander down the street and you see people doing construction and you see the cranes, and then the crane you know, you see like that crane's right here, that crane's right there. You know that crane 3 months ago is down here, but now it's up here. How did they move the crane down? How did they make the crane go up? I'll just Google it and I'll watch a video on how cranes go up.
Yeah. And you
right?
still won't understand it.
And you still are like, okay, I guess they figured it out. But the bottom line is you have that power in your phone. And we would have all said 20 years ago, you know, no way that would be something that you could do. If you, like, we used to look at encyclopedias. That's what you would do. You would get the books, you get the A to
Funkin'
B
Wagnalls.
encyclopedia to make sure you know the topic that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And now you've got it in your pocket. You've got all the information.
Yeah.
Do we really need to have it linked to our brains every single day? I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable at being in my pocket.
Imagine if you were like a stock trader with that thing plugged into your head. Holy shit. Imagine like you could
give that guy my money.
Now all of a sudden you're looking at somebody and now you know how to read every facial gesture, you know, when people are lying, you know, and like it's like, right? Something's wrong with that guy. That thing's
a stroke. We better call 911.
Yeah. But you could just do it instantly. Right? Just boom, call 911 or just order the shoes or just boom. Like, what's the weather tomorrow? It's
so
like,
it needs to be faster. Amazon needs to be faster.
Just coming at you non-stop. Crazy.
Being said, I think I have some deliveries at my door and I should probably go.
For sure. You probably do. That's how it works these days. How often do you not is probably easier to count.
It doesn't really make sense. So I had to buy some stuff the other day for a house. And then it was like, oh, I'm going to go to Canadian Tire to get it. And I was like, what am I talking about? And I went on Amazon and sure enough, I compared it to the Canadian Tire website and it was cheaper on Amazon.
That's what I do. I go into Staples and I buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
So like, there's no way this is the cheapest price.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Amazon's got it.
Yeah. And then it's there like tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I can wait till tomorrow.
For Staples stuff?
Yeah. Generally speaking.
TK. Oh, we didn't even talk about this. Jesus Christ. This is big news.
What?
That's too bad. Well, there was a big ribbon cutting ceremony. It was a big fucking deal, like out in Waterloo with the housing minister. They like built 60 affordable houses or something. Did you hear about that? That was awesome. No, this one here. No, but really, there was like a whole ceremony. I think maybe it was 200 houses. I think it was 67, but it was like a really... It was like
we've helped 30 families. Yeah.
But they spent like on the party and the ribbon cutting ceremony. They blew the difference, right? All the savings are gone from the party, whatever they robbed from the kitty. Anyways, 49% of Toronto offices are the occupancy rate is 49% downtown office.
That's not
horrible.
That's not the right stat.
That's the right stat. Foch put it out on Twitter.
Foch put it out. Okay.
Yeah, Foch put it out.
Good.
Yeah, it's got
49%
credibility.
Is the vacancy or occupancy? I guess it doesn't
49% Toronto office occupancy. Office occupancy. Yeah, but I mean, add a percent, and who cares?
Half of them are empty.
Right?
Half of them are empty. And that makes a lot of sense because, like, how many people are not using that office space anymore the same way? And do you know how much it costs to rent those buildings?
Oh God. And these are like AAA crazy leases.
It's incredible. Like you're like some of these lawyer offices in different places that they're showing off with, they're huge amounts of money that they're paying every single month. And if they could reduce those costs, their businesses would be doing much better.
I think a lot of lawyers, lawyers were working remote well before the pandemic. A lot of them. I mean, unless they had to go to the office, they were able to do everything from home. They had a million assistants in the office.
Yeah. You and I are frugal, you know, we're running this operation from our basements, making sure that everything goes smoothly so that we can afford to, you know, hire those guys in Pakistan to be able to, you know, produce the content just as well as we always have. So
I don't think he's in Pakistan, but he's somewhere.
Okay.
And he's super helpful.
He is super helpful.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
Lot of really good, helpful, smart, creative help in other countries right now. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Technology is not there's no language barrier with technology.
There is, but like
what I mean,
eventually you get there.
They know how to be able to edit a video, and you don't need to speak a certain language to be able to know how to edit a video.
Well,
it helps when you understand what's being said in the video.
It really helps. But we have a guy who gets it. I mean,
yeah.
TK,
he's great.
You just became a star in like 2 days. Everybody saw
blew up
that
on
thing.
TikTok.
Blew up, bro.
Yeah.
Blew up with that story. It's like,
yeah.
I must have watched it 18 times and I still don't understand it.
Yeah, I was so happy that my son edited his videos like so well. Like, I don't even know how he's doing it. He doesn't even have video editing software.
No, you do it right on the phone.
On his iPad.
Yeah, right
It's
on
so
there.
crazy. I'm witnessing
who's got the beard?
A mini Aiden. I don't know. I guess that's supposed to be my dad who doesn't have a beard.
Your dad doesn't have a beard?
Doesn't have a beard. That's just like looks like a grandpa, right?
It's good.
Anyways, Darryl, today has been great.
Yes.
We solved 0 issues today.
Nothing. I don't even think we discussed anything.
We've helped nobody. Hopefully this
useless
episode gets deleted from people's minds, and they come back next week because we've got some great guests coming up. We're lining up the guests for the month of June. We just wanted to take a little bit of a break, give you guys a little bit of taste of what we have to say.
I got too busy. I forgot to book people.
And clearly you guys want the guests. So no big deal. We saw the numbers. They like the guests. Darryl?
I don't think that's the numbers. I think it's just the sign of the times.
Okay. Like,
maybe it was the new time zone. The new starting time.
Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, please, because we need as much money as possible from YouTube in order to pay for.
There's only so much longer I can justify doing
our
this.
Videos being edited. Otherwise, we're gonna have to stop the show, guys. We're just gonna have to cancel the whole thing. Just move on with life. Do bigger and better things.
What's bigger and better than this, TK?
I'm just kidding. I have no idea. This is the highlight of my week.
It really is.